Boom! Welcome to another Sasha Daygame podcast. It's been a while. Thanks for all you guys who harass me and are like, hey, when's the next podcast, faggot? Because I feel your love and it makes me do more. So thanks for that. This guy coming up, this podcast was really fun. This guy's really epic. He's a true freedom fighter. He's essentially a journalist, but he's one of the few real journalists who gets in the face of people, really demands answers. He's not afraid to ask real questions. And he's one of the few people really spreading truth and letting people know what's really going on our planet Earth. So I give this guy a lot of respect. Not a lot of people have the balls to do what this guy is doing. In this podcast, we talk about freedom. We talk about freedom of the press and what that really means in a free society. We talk about living your passion. We talk about purpose. We talk about happiness. We talk about a lot of stuff. It's pretty good. We go a little bit deep. At moments, you might even have an emotion. Anyway, it's a good one. And for all you guys coming out to the Infinite Man Summit this September 16th, 18th, 2016, Luke's one of our confirmed speakers. So he's going to be there in the flesh. See you guys soon, and enjoy the podcast. It couldn't get any better than this. Luke Rudkowski from wearechange.org.
Yep.
And what an epic guy. I saw this guy, just found his videos, and he's this crazy fucking dude just getting in people's faces and pushing their buttons and just essentially speaking the truth. And I'm like, can he say that? Because I know what he's saying is true, but no one else is talking about that. And I think you can get in trouble for saying what's really happening. And then I just kept watching his videos like, oh, he's really insane. He's really fucking out of his mind and just says the truth. So what an honor to have you here. It's fucking awesome. I just see you as one of the true light warriors, one of the true people who are just like, we're going to get the word out to what's actually happening, even if it gets me shot in the face.
Well, hopefully I won't get shot in the face.
I hope so too.
That's one way of introducing the topic. I still have a hard time describing it or figuring it out myself. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just every day is a different journey. Every day is a different discovery. Every day is a different learning kind of opportunity. And I've been just taking it full advantage, whether it's confronting elites or doing combo with some crazy Mexicans or visiting Venezuela or traveling into the no-go zone of Fukushima. I'm like, yeah, let's experience life to the ultimate, fullest way that you really could by putting yourself in these kind of situations and filming and documenting it. And really just, it's just simple. It's just ask questions and film what you see. That's all you have to do in this life. And magically, it worked. Somehow I was able to translate everything I saw, put it on the web. People liked it. It resonated with them. People shared it. And we naturally, organically grew from nothing, no investor money, no start money, no ad money. We never bought ads. We never do that. Everything's fresh. Everything's organic. There's no GMO manipulation money in any of this, and it just came up out of nowhere, showing people how one person, one individual, if they do apply themselves, could really do anything, because we are on track with our numbers to overtake the mainstream media, and we are when it comes to major world events that happen, when it comes to shining a light on the darkness that people were never exposed to, and then finally when you do shine that light, either you have a bunch of cockroaches scurry around, and there's also some real significant changes. It's fun to watch the cockroaches, like the elites, the Kissingers, the Rockefellers, the Zbigniew Brzezinskis, the Tony Blair, the Bill Clintons run around all scared. But really, I think the bigger, deeper stuff that we've been able to make an impact on is through social impact, is through changing laws, is through changing people's consciousness and changing their actions, giving them information to be more prepared, and also at the same time not only more prepared but more knowledgeable, empowering them with information in this day and age has proven to be one of the most important, vital aspects when it comes to our society right now, because right now shooting a video camera is a lot more powerful than shooting a gun.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's only possible because of you. You guys who are watching, you guys who are subscribing, you guys who are clicking, you guys who are sharing. I would not be here if it wasn't for you. Beautiful, amazing human beings.
I agree. Yeah. Those people are awesome. Now, seriously. Interestingly, oh man, there's a lot of stuff I could say. I don't even know where to begin.
We were talking for like, we were like besties today from like, what was it, 12 till now. And now it's 11 hours of just straight, and now you can't even say anything.
Yeah, no.
Now you have nothing.
No, I got a lot. It's going to be good. Well, first of all, I want to say, a lot of people out there that follow, my adventures and what I'm up to, they're really waking up to the fact that you can, in this life, right now, find out what you love doing and do it. You can find a passion and you can do it, and amazing things can happen, and it changes not only your world, it changes the world. And it's a very powerful thing you can do. It's the biggest, most powerful vote you can make is, what are you doing with your life? Mm-hmm. It really comes down to that. And so when I see you and what you're doing, it's like, this guy is really doing, he's not messing around. He's really doing what he's here to do. And I'm going to get to that. But just the fact that the way you explain how it sort of came to be is very powerful. And people ask me too, like, hey, well, you travel around the world, you teach these courses, you've got your own following and whatever. We were actually joking around today, like, somebody recognized me, and I was like, did you get recognized today, Luke? No? Okay, so that's 1-0. And then I was like 2-0, 3, and then somebody came up to him, and he's like 3-1, and then later he's like 3-3 fuckface, and he's like 4-3 asshole. And I was like, what? So it's really funny. But it's fascinating because you're really able to build something amazing. And we both did the same thing. I didn't have any money, investors, nothing except an idea. I could go out there and show, how to go out there, and, I made a name for myself as a dating coach. You can go out there and be yourself and flirt with people and just be and express yourself and not care what people think. And just by having that filmed and whacking it up on the internet, boom, changed the world. Created a whole life for me and helped a lot of people. Same thing for you, really. You took a simple idea. You know what? I'm gonna get in people's faces. I'm gonna ask them some heavy shit that no one's gonna ask them, and I'm gonna film it. I'm gonna put up there, and no backing, no marketing, no networking, nothing. Just authenticity, really, just the truth, putting it up on the internet for people themselves to decide what they think. And boy, what an impact it's making on a global scale. And that's what makes today, this day and age, so different than anything in the past. Any one human being with a camera and an idea can change the world.
Yep.
And that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, one person, one voice could speak truth to the entire world within a matter of seconds. And people who aren't taking advantage of this situation, whether it's just even educating yourself, whether it's just looking up on the World Wide Web, you're really not only failing yourself, you're failing the future generation that are going to be raised up right after us. Because really, this is the first time that we know of, at least in written history. There's probably history before that we don't even know about, that's even more complex with ancient societies and ancient technology that even now people are discovering or saying, oh, holy cow, these ancient civilizations were far more advanced. There's so much knowledge, there's so much information, there's so much to learn from. And I think it ultimately is a very critical breaking point right now, because we are seeing the death of the mainstream media. We are seeing the death of regular commercial advertising. We're even seeing the death right now of the gawkers, of all these other even online media publications. All of this is kind of cracking, all of this is kind of falling. You see them downsizing, and what you do really see the rise of are these kind of mom and pop operations, these kind of organic stores that rely on people's donations, that rely on people's support, that rely on people who actually watch it and are committed and want to tip and want to give information instead of buying that satellite dish TV package or Cablevision package. They're like, you know what, I'm just going to go online, get all my information on there, and give $1 on Patreon a month. And that is huge, and it ultimately signifies just this amazing time, but also a very critical time, because that power could be taken away at any time. We're already seeing the kind of censorship on Twitter. We're already seeing it on Facebook. We're already seeing it on all these other social media platforms with their owners having bias, because whenever you have any institution of power, whenever you have any institution of influence, they are going to have a particular point of view that they are always going to push. With that power comes great responsibility, and of course all these, I'm not going to curse, all these people don't have any responsibility. They get inundated with this power and they want to push their ideology, and that's why on Twitter you see freaking ISIS being allowed to use the platform, but if you criticize social justice warriors, they're going to ban you. They're going to block you. It's like okay, what is happening here? The revolution will not be in your timeline. That's why it's important to individually support any kind of media that you like by donating to them. It's important to go on their individual websites and actually click subscribe, actually go on their email list. It's important to understand that this dichotomy is changing, and it's getting harder and harder for one individual to come up out of nowhere to make this significant difference. Like when we came up, I came up even before YouTube started. We were putting up videos on Blip.tv. Doesn't exist anymore. You've never heard of it. But with now YouTube changing the algorithms, it used to be, also Google Video used to change their algorithms. When I was a part of the project Making Loose Change, when that project launched, it was #1. And it was #1 because Google had an algorithm saying this is the most viewed video. This is the most shared video. They got rid of that. They don't have that anymore. They have what's recommended to you and more friendly towards their advertisers, which they could sell you more useless crap that you don't need, socially conditioning you, brainwashing you to make you feel just horrible about yourself, which is kind of the long and scheme of things by these real power elites and also other individuals in power and influence, because they know once you're at a lower vibration, once you are at a level where you are not happy with yourself, you will look for satisfaction outside of yourself, and that usually means buying useless crap that you do not need. And that's the cycle that they've been repeating. Whether it's a financial cycle, whether it's a deeper cycle, we have to first understand that the cycle does exist, and it does manipulate our emotions, it does manipulate our well-being, it does manipulate us right now, especially with what's happening in the United States with this huge kind of racial divide, with black people hating cops, cops hating black people, this ever-expanding hatred.
Cops have always hated black people. All right,
that's a very huge generalization, and that depends where you go. If you go to South Africa, it's a little bit different. It's different all over the world. There is no real singular truth to a lot of things. It's only our experiences, and coming up in this day and age, we could share our experiences. We can make people feel what we feel, and by showing people our experiences, by showing people what we feel, we make them understand. And I think that's really the whole kind of thing that the elites and the mainstream media have been pushing, is this whole huge misunderstanding. Look at this crazy person doing this insane. In reality, like we were talking about this before, it's because they're hurt in some kind of way. It's because they're dealing with some emotional trauma that, of course, no one will get to the bigger picture of, but will only perpetrate it by pointing fingers, laughing, getting angry, or getting mad at other stupid, angry, or mad people. And again, it's a cycle that people are just feeding into that festers and grows. And we are really seeing it fully manifested because the mainstream media is really doing a hell of a job pushing it to the extreme, as we're seeing exemplified in Dallas, in Baton Rouge, in New York City, all over this country.
Yep, these are heavy times.
Heavy times, but really amazing times, because if it wasn't for these heavy times, if it wasn't for the darkness, there would never be any light.
That's right.
Freemasons always use that term. I'm not a Freemason, by the way. But it is true in many instances, because you have to understand, you can't appreciate something unless it's being taken away from you. And sadly, a lot of people realize that when that happens.
That's right. Yeah, and I think that's why this period is going to be so fascinating, because as things get really, really bad, way more people are going to go, wait a minute, this isn't right. Something's fishy here, and they're going to start, going online. They're going to do their research. They're going to talk to people. And I think a lot more people are going to have to get involved and do things, whether that's...
I don't even think they're getting that bad. I think we're finally seeing a lot of things that we've never seen before.
Okay.
I think we're finally being able to see, oh crap, there's a live video camera feed here with this happening, with this guy getting shot, with this, and then you could finally see during these major protests, look, I'm here live, independent, at like a Trump rally. Here are Trump protesters committing violent acts against Trump supporters. Here is the mainstream media that doesn't like Trump turning their cameras away and not filming any of this. Mm-hmm. Here's the propaganda. Here's all the pro-Trump people also manipulating things in their different kind of ways. And I think really, if you really dig down, it is a certain time where things will figure itself out, but right now we're still in that huge kind of conflicting, confusing, kind of like, holy crap, who do we believe? We're still being used by our emotions. But if you look at, historically speaking, if you look at the records, we're living at the best time in recorded human history than ever before. When it comes to murder rates, when it comes to wars, when it comes to poverty, when it comes to the birth rates, when it comes to all these negative illiteracy, when it comes to all these negative things, they are going down. Life expectancy is going up. Education is going up. Actually, all around the world, probably not in the United States with what's happening here with the financial market system, but all around the world, there's there's less wealth inequality than there was ever before. So you see slowly a shift. And you wouldn't understand that if you're watching the mainstream media, because they keep pounding, you're horrible, death, murder, war. it feels like you're being inundated with it, but in reality, if you take a step back and you look at all the facts and you look at all the records, you're like, wait, we're living in the best time we ever lived in recorded human history.
This is a really big thing I've talked about before, but it's such an important point, and I just want to keep hammering it, is that, there's only really two frequencies. There's love, which is the real truth, and it just is what everything is made of. Everything is really love, and all the hardcore meditators, people, teachers who work with all the teaching plants, all the enlightened gurus, all these, they always say one thing: it's love. Everything is love. We're all one. That is the fundamental truth. It's nice to get glimpses of that once in a while. I don't claim to be, enlightened or anything, but I've had my moments of clarity where I'm like, damn, oh, okay, I see what's going on here, and it's what a reality it would be to be in that state all the time, and that's something I'm striving for, But what they're touting in the media, the exact opposite of that. Fear, hate your neighbor, there's not enough of anything, you need, And so as they separate everyone and everybody's fighting everybody else, then they can isolate one group and destroy them. And people go, well, it's not happening to me. Then they'll destroy the next one. Well, it's not happening to me. And so that famous expression, what is it? They came for the XYZ and they came for the XYZ, and by the time they come for you, there's nobody left to
speak up for you.
Right. And that's what they're doing.
Well,
and it's
Well, ultimately, that's why I have a job. That's why I'm able to work for you, wonderful, amazing human individuals, by having my YouTube channel. The only reason I have an audience is because of this perpetual problem, which more and more people are waking up to, which is amazing to see. But still, it depends on what you focus on, what your intentions are, you will bring out to yourself as well. So you see this kind of dichotomy of pure love and pure hatred just being pinned up against each other. And ultimately, love is creation. Without love, without another human being loving another human being, they cannot create life. Hatred does the opposite. It is destructive. And once you learn about these two kind of cycles, these two kind of wolves inside of you, and that you have the decision within yourself to feed which wolf you want to be inside of you, to represent you. Once you understand that conscious power you have within yourself, everything changes. Game over. And we're seeing that more and more and more, and it begins with just simple steps by understanding your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your habits become your virtue becomes your destiny, and it all begins on a very micro level. Not many people take it back that small, just by understanding the power of your belief, the power of your intentions, the power of your mind to physically change not only your chemical well-being, but also your physical well-being. There's so many studies and scientific documents out there that prove, even with the placebo effect of just believing something helps you, it actually does within your body. There's been other studies where they had people who were just looking at themselves in the mirror, and they were naked working out. They did a case study with one of the group of people doing that, and another group doing the same kind of exercises but with clothes on and with no mirrors. And the group with that was naked working out actually had 15% more muscle mass and more defined toned muscles, because they were just looking at it. They were paying attention to it, and it changed our physical body. So if you're seeing the effects of placebo, if you're seeing all these documented cases of how your mind could actually change things within your physical self, imagine what we could do if we all just concentrate on a different frequency, on a different level, if we understand that. And of course, I'm not saying turn a blind eye to all the horrible things that you're seeing in this world, because you first have to see them to address them in order to fix them. But learning the true power, getting yourself in a good state, will prepare you for anything, because once you're in that cycle of positivity, of love, of consciousness, of whatever, spirituality, whatever the hell you call all these hippie terms. I'm sorry for being a hippie, but for fuck's sakes, I understand. Trust me, I hate these key platitude words, but ultimately they have a lot of meaning to me, because I've been able to exemplify them. I've been able to use them in order to create my own reality. And the reality that I have right now is amazing. It's beautiful. There's ups and downs, but I couldn't ask for a more blessed, more amazing human existence than I have right now, having a true purpose, having something in my life that I could strive for, that I could fight for, that I could actually make a significant difference going to an area and helping people get out of jail just because I shined a video camera at a particular situation that was used in court and was able to get people who were wrongly convicted, people who were charged with a crime, who were going to be sent to jail, free. And at the same time, it also has an opposite effect. If you're a dumbass and you do something wrong, I'm still going to film you. I'm sorry. And I catch a lot of flack with this, but I have to be, if you're really true to yourself, you can't lie to yourself, and you can't lie to your audience because they will know that. And sometimes when someone does something stupid, I do film it, and I do get flack from it. And there was fights with a couple black guys.
Black, so really black guys.
No, black, the anarchist group.
Okay, I'm just like black guys. I'm like, how black are they?
Black. Sorry, I should. When I get excited, I just speak too fast, and then my mouth gets full of saliva, and then I jumble up words sometimes. It happens. But you have to ultimately only be beholden to the truth. The truth, again, is very personal. It's all based on your experiences, but you can never stop. You should never ever start lying to yourself in order to make yourself feel better. You should, when you do feel crappy, you should actually embrace it and deal with it, and let the truth be the ultimate judge of everything.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier today with the students and with you. It's almost like a revolutionary act. Somebody just speaking truth to another person, especially another person that you've just met. And it's so simple, and it's so much easier, and it makes everything better, because then you have nothing to hide. There's nothing to think about. You're just, this is what it is. Yeah. And nobody does it.
Yeah. It's hard. It's not easy, because we're put into these comfort zones. We're put into these areas in our lives that everyone, including society, including our parents, including other people who are above us or supervisors or bosses, always put us and pin us in this particular positions. This is socially acceptable. You need to do this. You need to have this kind of lifestyle. You need to, no, like, you could break all those rules. Like, I lived at a moment in my time, I had no money. I was totally broke, but I was still living an amazing and incredible life. Because I just fully had faith into my mission, and whenever I needed anything, it would just magically just appear right in front of me. I was hungry, someone offered me some food. I needed a ride, someone literally was like, hey, I'm going here. Does anyone want an extra seat in my car? Like, all these magical, amazing moments. I was in freaking, where was I? Somewhere in freaking Germany during the, what was it, G7? Didn't have a place to crash. Hotels all sold out in this whole city because the G7's happening there. I just, went to a bar at a hotel. The hotel owner walks out. He's like, I know you. I love your YouTube channel. What do you guys need? And I'm like, I need a hotel room. He's like, all right, here you go. Have a hotel room. So like these like magical, serendipitous kind of moments open up to you once you kind of let go of any kind of fear, of any kind of dark energy, and you're like, whatever, take me where you may. I'm just going to follow my path. I believe in this mission. It sounds pretty crazy, but it's actually exemplified if you do truly, fully go after your purpose.
Yeah, it's the most important thing of all.
Yeah.
In fact, after having taught, dating and seduction and all this stuff for years and years and years, I started noticing after a while, no matter what question somebody, there's this girl and I kind of like her, but she's not getting back to me. I'm not sure what to do. Have you found your purpose in life? No, I'm not really sure. Find your purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the question was. I'm like, yeah, I can give you this answer, but actually, are you living your purpose? No. Cool. Because when you do that, you're going to be happy. You're going to be getting up excited in the morning. Your frequency is going to just raise. You're going to feel amazing. And then women are just going to be coming up to you going, hey, you have an amazing energy. And it'll all be fucking easy.
Yeah. And you could feel that. You could feel that in the dating world. You could see when you meet somebody, you could feel their presence. You could feel their energy, whether it's micro expressions or even their body language. It all is being exemplified. But I think there's also a deeper kind of energy about somebody that when you first meet them, when you're able to look them in the eyes, when you're able to look them directly into their soul, you're seeing who they are, and they naturally become attractive right away or really unattractive right away, no matter how they look. And that's been my case. It's like, wow, I am extremely attracted.
When I looked into your eyes, I thought you were really attractive right away. I was like, this guy is hot. H-O-T.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Just be happy.
All right, yeah. I was going to go off on a longer tangent.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Wasn't appropriate.
No, you can go on forever. I'm still going to crack jokes. I'm still a comic, so it's kind of part of me. And it's funny too, because you know, I went on this path of like doing stand-up comedy for such a long time, and then I became this dating coach, and then and what people loved about me was, and still do, I like to think, is that that's just me. The comedy is just part of me, and that's never going to change. So no matter what I do, if I'm not like having fun and making jokes, I'm not being me at all. I'm actually being, if I have a serious conversation for like an hour and a half and I never made a joke, I'm not being authentic. I'm either uncomfortable or I'm trying to be someone who I'm not. And that's the thing when it comes to all the stuff we're talking about, finding your passion, living your life. It's like your passion, not your parents' passion, not what society says you should be doing. Your passion, what feels right for you. What do you wake up every morning and go, fuck, that's what I want to do. That's what you should be doing. And for me, it's it's raising the frequency, waking people up, making inappropriate jokes, and having a good time.
And really just being yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of saw today when you were teaching your students. The main thing is just if you're a fool or you're goofy or if you're weird or if you're nerdy, embrace it. Stop hiding that fact. If you're scared about something or insecure about something, use that as your starting point to actually go up to another person and introduce themselves with starting that line. And just be friendly to everybody and not do it just to someone you want to take away from, someone you want to physically have sex with in order to justify and validate yourself. Instead of just doing that, you can do the demonstrations later. Instead of just doing that and trying to take away someone's physical energy to validate your kind of standards, your kind of beliefs that were put on you by somebody else, someone else, and probably in a suit smoking a cigar in some Thai hall freaking building, who's like, yeah, we're going to make them like this. Because ultimately that's what they're doing. We're going to make them like this and accept this form of beauty because that's what we dislike. And we're going to push it on everybody. If we want people to like models that look like 15-year-old boys, okay, then we're going to push that on society. And that's what they've been doing. And they make people, especially women, there's an extreme amount of pressure, especially on women, to not love themselves, to not love their body, to not have this kind of... Now, of course, when someone's beautiful, you do have to appreciate it. It's natural. But when you use kind of manipulative tactics, when you use Photoshop to the extent where it's even impossible to look like somebody on all these magazines, when you push all these movies and all these like subliminal messages on females saying that they need this perfect freaking white knight, you're ruining the kind of genuine authenticness that should be there, that should be natural, that should be us willing to communicate with each other, willing to be there with each other, but it's not there. Dating is very, very awkward. It's very weird. And socially, our sexuality is being repressed on many, many levels.
Yeah, dude. And that repression is so powerful because it affects us in every single way. If you're sexually repressed, look at the religion. Look at it's been there since the beginning of time. You feel guilty. If you have sexual thoughts, you're not supposed. If you masturbate, you're a sinner. If you have sex before marriage, you're a sinner. So everything you do, you're bad. And all this stuff is supernatural, right? It's just natural stuff. Supernatural sounds like it's supernatural. No, it's just the most natural stuff in the world, and you're going to hell for doing it. So of course, everybody's messed up. Everybody is deeply messed up, and so of course, and you take that into your adulthood, and then you're not having relationships. You're sexually frustrated. Is it any wonder that once in a while someone gets a sniper rifle and just goes and shoots a bunch of women, or just loses their shit? Of course, they're going to lose their shit.
Exactly. If everyone was getting laid right now, there would be no mass murder. There would be no mass shooting. Everyone would be happy, and everyone would be content if everyone was just being the true version of themselves. But we're all trying to be this fake version of ourselves based on what we want to be when we're not really that.
Nobody's having sex with a woman going, oh, this is amazing. You know, baby, baby, we got to stop. I got to take this rifle. I'm gonna go shoot me some women. You know what I'm saying? This. No, it's not you. This is great. I just want to kill people more. That's not happening.
No,
that's not happening anywhere. It's an angry individual who cannot connect with another human being, and he's gonna go kill people. That's what it is.
Because the true meaning of love is taken away, and it's meant to be this kind of idealized, kind of fake notion that is really, by society standards, unreachable. You're supposed to be one person for the rest of your life. You're not supposed to cheat. You're not supposed to, even though everyone cheats, and even though it's unspoken, you're not supposed to think about other women. You're supposed to have one, and that's it. That's not how our bodies are made to be.
Nope.
That's not our genetic coding. That's not how humans are supposed to naturally act. And we're fighting this thing, and then it's so unnatural, and it's just being exemplified in all these nasty ways with Ashley Madison and all these other stupid, incredible, dumb websites with people cheating and lying to each other. Why? When we can't just be honest, fix sexuality, fix the social norms, fix society by just having everyone being the truest version of themselves, having sex, being open to it, and not shaming anybody.
As soon as you become your authentic self, guess what? You wake up to the matrix that we're in. You don't want to support any groups that murder or oppress other people. You're not going to pay your taxes. You're not going to work for anyone else and build their vision. You're not. You're just going to be like, nah, I'm going to do what I want with my life. I'm not down with this shit. If you're really happy and you feel good about yourself, you're not going to want to mess with anyone else. You're not going to want to put anyone else down. You're not going to have to buy all these products to fill an empty void in your soul.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to. You're just be like, nah, actually, I could just be me. I don't need any of this shit. So that's their strategy, is to make us not trust our instincts, not trust what we feel naturally that we want to do sexually with our lives, everything. It's just go and do what society says, your parents, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, even though it's completely not what you want, it's not you, and it doesn't make you happy. And because you have that separation, you're unsure of yourself, you're not in your power, and when you're not in your power, you are powerless.
The secret weapon to defeat all of this is love. Can't believe I fucking said that. But ultimately,
well, self-love, but yeah.
Yeah, because if you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. And if you do hate yourself, you exemplify that on somebody else. And that's why even when I get into dating other women, I always kind of ask and I talk and I try to get deep with them about their insecurities, about their fears. Because ultimately, if they're not loving of themselves, if they have fears, if they have insecurity, if they have pain, if they are not happy as individuals, and I'm dating you, you could pretend to be happy. Right? But ultimately, if I spend enough time with you, if I'm a year, 5 years, 10 years down the line, because of that pain inside of yourself, because you can't deal with it, the only way you could express it is by pushing it on somebody else. And that's exactly what we're seeing with modern dating, modern relationships, modern marriage, and that's why everyone's freaking mostly miserable. That's a very strong word. Again, words are very important, but majority of the people are not happy within themselves, and they're not happy with somebody else. They think being with somebody else will make them happy. No, it doesn't. Later down the line, everything hits, and they're freaking cheating, being on Ashley Madison, freaking doing all these insane freaking things, hiding around, having people hide underneath their beds and closets, and like, why? Like, why? Like, why can't we just be two honest human beings and be real with each other? And I think that's what I appreciate about you, because the stuff you do is real to the extreme level where you're like, I'm just going to be weird. And there's a power in that, and I appreciate that, even though it's really weird. Like, really weird.
What, you mean walking up to strangers and starting conversations and picking my nose and eating it?
Yeah,
so they judge me and I feel uncomfortable, and then I actually realize I don't care what they think and I feel free and love.
But I appreciate that, because there's power in that. There's so much power in that even though someone watching was like, what? Like, but when I see it, I'm like, wow, this is incredible. This is awesome. It's beautiful to see, even though it's him picking his nose, literally. Like,
well, it was beautiful to see this weekend. We had my final, seduction weekend boot camp in the States, since I'm moving on to other things, and we had half a dozen guys who came down. They wanted to learn, and it was beautiful seeing them start off with like, I care what people think and I'm shy, and just like 8 hours later, running after women and expressing themselves and telling girls they're beautiful, and seeing them smile and seeing the women be happy, and just guys getting dates, and just you can just see it's a freedom. They just feel. They have a shift where they're like, oh, I can just do whatever I want to and nobody cares.
Yeah, you could walk around in life, in this world, scared of everyone's opinions. You could act closeted. You could enclose. You could be just totally in your own kind of bubble. But why? Why? I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand that at all. To why close yourself off to all the amazing and all the beautiful experiences that you could have. Also some bad experiences, but why not push life to something that is more meaningful than just your small bubble of acceptance, just to your small circle, when there's so many different things to experience, when there's so many different places to see, when there's so many different things to do. Why not do it? Why not live to the fullest, instead of just putting yourself in that coffin prematurely and ultimately just killing your true spirit, your true life, which is meant to be out there, which is meant to explore. I mean, it's in our DNA to explore, to visit, to see, to interact, to have loving, bonding relationships, creating something together instead of destroying it with that closed off, fearful, destructive, dark, low vibration energy.
You're stealing all the stuff I say. You're giving dating advice. I'm like, that's my shtick, bro. What am I supposed to do?
I'm taking his job. I'm going to take your job.
That's messed up.
You take my job, I'll take your job.
We were talking about doing a job swap. It was quite fun.
I'm serious. I mean, it's only... We were talking about this before because you're coming from a different market, I'm coming from a different market, and I don't even mean to use those economic terms. But technically, you come from a whole different brand, I come from a whole different brand. But we're both
insane
pushing
enough
for the same thing.
We're both pushing for the same thing, and we're both crazy enough to do the other person's thing and be good at it. So here's a question that's legit. You've done some pretty insane things to get the truth out to the people. On the deepest level, what's driving you to do this? Because a lot of people would have just quit. They were just gonna, fuck this, I'm gonna go and do something much easier.
That's a deep question. Give me a second. I'll make this awkward. But I'm not thinking now. Ultimately, understanding how short life is. Ultimately understanding how the only thing that's going to be left from our physical existence is what we did. Our whatever you think you want to do and accomplish, whether it's even having a building with your name on it, that's going to go away. Your jewelry, that's going to go away. Your cars, that's going to go away. Your houses, that's going to go away. You can't take that to the other side when you finally do leave this physical presence. Everything I've seen the power of the mind. I've seen kind of the spirit and the soul and the human energy of survival, this human kind of internal unknown thing that keeps us who we are. This thing that can't really be classified in any real scientific ways, but something inside of us that continues on, this energy. Because energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it just can be transferred. That energy that makes us who we are. When you do leave this physical presence, the only thing that's going to be left behind is how you lived this life. You get a snap of everything you did in your life when you die. That's normally from DMT levels. But when I look back on the ride, I want to make sure it was a fun one. I want to make sure it was a worthwhile one. I want to make sure that I was able to do something that was congruent, that was real, that was true, that was really what I deep down wanted to do without any coercion, without any kind of pressure, without any kind of fear, following the true light of love. Just knowing that and knowing how fast. I mean, I feel like I blinked and I was 15 just yesterday. Life goes so fast. Make it something worthwhile.
So when I was younger, I remember I was like, I don't know, 15 in Toronto, and I just, there was some comedian on the TV. I was watching it and I just went, man, this guy's pretty funny. And there was a little knowing, just a knowing inside of me that was like, I'm funnier than this guy. I'm funnier than this guy. I know I could go on stage and be funnier than this guy. And I just started, right then I was like, I'm going to do comedy. I'm going to do comedy. There was no deep, there was no like, I'm going to change the world. None of that. It was just like, I'm going to be on stage, I'm going to be funny. And I started doing it, and it went well. I was funny. And the whole time in my whole 20s doing it, I just loved making people laugh. There's just something magical about it. Just getting up on that stage, even if it's 20 people or 200 or 500 or whatever. Just that feeling of I don't know, I was an attention whore. I love getting the attention, but making the people laugh is all that mattered. And I was one of those comics where I was like, I don't care what the joke is. I don't care if it's dirty or clean. I don't care if it's political or nice. It doesn't matter. If it's funny and people love it and they laugh, that's all that matters. So I was just driven by making people happy. That was just it just made me so happy. And as I was developing more and more, I actually realized, I remember I did one show that really changed my perspective, changed everything for me. And I went up on stage and I was reading about this cancer cure called Essayac. And it's this native, it's basically, there was a nurse called Renee Case. and Esiac is her last name backwards, right? And she just discovered like an old native recipe in Canada that apparently reversed cancer, and she started doing it. This is back in the, I don't know, back in the oldest, I think it was like in the 50s or 40s. It was a long time ago. Anyway, she was curing tons of people, like hundreds of people at her funeral, like ridiculous amount of people turned up. And I was just like, and this blew my mind. This was back in like 2010, I guess. And I'm just like, there's a cure for cancer. They're trying to raise all this money for cancer, but there's already a cure out there that works for sure. And I got the PDF and I knew how to make it, and I was just like, this just exists. And I went up on stage one night and I thought, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna go up. I had 20 minutes. So I was the headliner of this little comedy club, and I thought, for the first 10 minutes, I'm just gonna be funny. I'm gonna do my normal stuff. And once I got the audience on side for 10 minutes, I'm just gonna tell them the truth. I'm just gonna talk to them about what I learned, and I'm just gonna see what happens. No plan. So I did my 10 minutes, I did the show, and I talked about all this. There's a cure for cancer, and they've been hiding it from us forever, and it's bullshit, and I was pissed. And at the end, and people were really listening. They were really listening to me. And at the end, I said,
sounds like a buzzkill.
Dude, well, here's the thing. After the show, I go, okay, guys, so I want to do a poll now. Put your hand up if you believe what I said is true. Like, it's absolutely 100% true. But a third of the audience went, yeah. And I went, okay. Who just absolutely thinks, no way. This guy's he's messing with us, he's making it up, or he's just bullshitting. But a third of the people. And I said, okay, and who's not sure? And everyone else put their hands up, and I said, to the people who aren't sure who's going to go, and they're going to find out. And they were like, yeah, we're all going to do that. And I was like, interesting. And after the show, I remember a couple of people came up to me, and they said, that was the greatest thing we've ever seen. We've been to lots of comedy. This was powerful. We learned something, and we're going to go, this has changed our life, and I'm going to use this. And I'm realizing now that there's more bullshit out there, and I want to find out like what's real and what's not. And I'm going to tell my friend whose mom has cancer. And this is, I could see they were like, thanks, man. This was not what we were expecting. This was awesome. And that day I was like, there's more to comedy than making people laugh. Mm-hmm. A lot more. And around that time, that's also when I was heavily getting into this other stuff. And the other stuff sucked me in because it was this new world of like seduction and women and all this stuff, and it was really fun. And for me, again, same thing. When I realized that there were so many guys out there who were suffering like I had suffered, being shy, I couldn't connect with people, and I had a lot of anger, I had a really bad childhood, I was quite lonely. When you can show guys that actually, you know what, you can start loving yourself. You can stop caring what people think. You can respect yourself more. You can learn how to connect with women and have real relationships and sexual experiences, all this kind of stuff. And people went from virgin to I have a girlfriend now. People went from I can't talk to women to actually I'm dating some girls and life is amazing and I'm so happy. Yeah. You realize you're changing people's lives. And for me, that was it. And when I realized I could do that one-on-one or two-on-one or a few guys at a time, that just sucked me in, and I couldn't do anything else but that.
Not only help them in that kind of mental way, but also help them in that physical way, because actually it's stress that creates the biggest kind of damage and the biggest kind of diseases within your physical body, and that's why the most number of deaths happen right before work Monday morning. That's when they have the most amount of heart doctors in the hospitals, because people are affected by their kind of emotional well-being on such a physical level that it has huge effects on your personal well-being. You were telling me about that earlier today, and how just your mind, even with the placebo like we were talking about before, but even in other ways, how your mind has a direct effect on your physical health. You know? Absolutely, and there's so much research, so many books, and so much stuff out there. I know about it, and I haven't gone anywhere near deep into it. But fundamentally, your mental state, how you feel about yourself, your view on the world, your frequency affects your health, the friends that you have, the way your life goes, everything. And when we have all this trauma from our childhood and all this pain, it manifests in the body, and it manifests as disease. And you go and look. Generally, when people get something like multiple sclerosis, when the body's attacking itself, or all these other diseases, cancer, they're not always, but a lot of the time, either they're not living their lives authentically, or they're angry with themselves, or they have a lot of deep pain they haven't healed. Really happy people who love themselves and just are living amazing lives, they don't usually get those diseases. Stress is the killer. Stress. Yeah. When you're unhappy for whatever reason, and you're not dealing with it, you have some job you hate, you're doing it because your parents want you to do it, and you hate every day of it,
you're not happy, you get sick, this is what happens.
Yeah, there's a reason your hair starts falling out, you get more wrinkles, you get more kind of, when you get more introverted, your body, when you even get, afraid, your body even inclines even more when you're not in a purely happy, confident state.
This is why we're so handsome. Look at these two handsome guys, huh? Because we're doing what we like. Look at us.
I guess so.
We could go right now. We could.
No, but in all reality, even people's physical kind of demeanor when they're feeling scared is always kind of inclined, is always kind of introverted. When they're feeling sad and scared, they always kind of hunch over. But when they're feeling confident, it's more of an open kind of stance. They always recommend use the power pose if you want more confidence, because the power pose actually tricks your brain into believing that it is confident by just your physical posture, tricking your brain, and you're able to perform more confidently because of just simply standing up in a proper way. So just imagine those kind of minimal kind of effects, how they add up over time, and also importantly, how deep of an effect does your psychological well-being just have on everything, not just your physical body. Because if it could do this to your physical body, imagine what it does to the people all around you. And that's what you feel also. And I kind of agree with the kind of whatever the pickup artist kind of way, where you just go up and you talk to as many people as possible, because that is the only way to really truly find somebody that you could connect with, that you could have a good energy with, that you could truly find somebody that will work with you for the rest of your life. And that's ultimately what everyone deserves. They don't deserve someone they've been forced into marriage with. They don't deserve someone who's just there because people ultimately just get comfortable. People ultimately just want the safe, socially acceptable kind of life. They want the white picket fence, they want the dog, they want the kids, they want all that. It's not bad to want that, but putting pressure on yourself, not being congruent, and forcing something with somebody else leads to just horrible things.
It's okay to want it if you really want that.
Yeah.
Not because society went, hey, here's how you become successful. Fuck that. So I realized I wasn't finished answering your question, and the end of the answer links exactly back to what we were talking about. So we were talking about my motivation and how I loved helping people, and I was helping all these guys. And when I started discovering more that actually, we are living in the Matrix, and that movie was just them making fun of us and showing us, hey, you're in the Matrix. That's it, we're in it. And when I started learning all that stuff, nothing makes me happier than just having a conversation and just saying something just enough where somebody realizes something that they completely had no idea about, and they go, oh, that's really true, and it makes them question everything, and they walk away and they're like, wait, I have to figure out what's going on. That makes me the happiest. Just waking people up to the truth. Just the simple, plain truth. And the blurry line and the danger is so much of the truth is so negative that by focusing on it, of course, we're manifesting more of that. And I don't want to do that. It's almost like I want to find a way to go, okay, let's stay positive while we recognize this is what's going on, but this is where we want to be, and let's focus on this reality, and let's create this together. And it's hard because as a comic and as a guy who had a tough childhood, I come from a place of anger. And anger is funny. And one of the most important things I've learned is that as I move forward and I try and raise the frequency and wake people up, I've got to do it from a place of love. And that is a fine line.
But it also depends on people's perception, because I totally disagree with you when you say, finding out the truth is something that is very dark or very difficult for a lot of people. It depends where you are as a human being, because if you're coming from that lacking and you're seeing something horrible, you're going to be affected because you're already in that cycle, and by seeing it, it's only going to perpetuate your cycle. But if you're in a positive cycle, if you're in a good place in life, if you're congruent with yourself, if you're totally free with yourself, if you're totally honest with yourself, if you're totally in love with yourself, being hit with negative information, you know how to handle it, you know how to deal with it. It won't lead you back down a negative path. It will educate you, it will inform you, and it will show you an opportunity to make something better, to fix something. So it's all about the eyes of the perceiver, and sadly a lot of people who are stuck in that basic kind of cycle, that kind of negative cycle, it's hard for them not to see it but anything but negative. Even though they are harsh truths to realize, I see them as amazing opportunities to show how amazing we are. Even though something bad happened, we could use this opportunity to fix it, and by having that point of view, instead of just seeing problems, you see solutions, and how we could fix it by communicating, by working together, collaborating, understanding each other. That's the way that I've seen it, because I've been in previous points in my life where I've been in also very negative points of view, where I've been going through a lot of turmoil, where I've been going through a lot of insecurity, or I've been going through a lot of pain. Whenever I would see really negative information, it would just hit me even harder and push me in that cycle. So it all depends on where you are in your kind of mental state, which is extremely, extremely, extremely important, because, you know, we have all these freaking commercials and we have all these products talking about all these diets and what we put into our bodies. Everyone's obsessed about that, but no one's really obsessed about how we use our minds and what we put into our minds and how our minds actually work. We're all upset about what we put in our stomach, but we ultimately should be worried about what we put into our heads, and that's what's not, I don't see a lot of people concentrating on that, except for the kind of self-help, self-development, sometimes pick-up artists, the good ones at least, who concentrate on that and use that as an aspect to help bring someone into a better place.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Most people don't even worry about what goes in your stomach, but some people do. At least there's a percentage of people, maybe 10%, that are into it. But almost nobody's worried about what's going on up here, and it's just such a ridiculous point.
Yeah,
that's all there is, right? What's in here, and what's in here, and what's in your heart.
Yeah, there's all this money, there's all this business, there's all these investments, there's all these, you know, all these huge concerns, and everyone always is going to click the clickbait articles about, you know, the latest diet or the latest trend. Like, why don't we worry about what we put in our minds? Why don't we even concentrate on that? Why don't we, you know, work on spreading gratitude? Why don't we work on spreading meditation? Why don't we learn to relax our minds for a little bit and let it take us where it naturally should be? And I think that's why meditation is so powerful, because it just shuts down particular parts of your brain and lets it relax, it lets it breathe. It's not constantly working and getting caught up in a cycle where you're so busy and you're doing always something at every moment, at every second, that you can't just be like, hey, hold on, let's just question things for a second. Because when you do slow down, when you say, let's just see where our mind takes us, it makes you question a lot of the things you're doing. And consciously, people don't try to meditate because they don't want to deal with that, and then subconsciously they do it as well, and they sabotage themselves without even knowing it by keeping themselves too busy, instead of really finding out the true person, the true kind of thought, the true kind of energy they are, by just saying, wait, let's just not think about anything, let's just relax, let's just take a pause, let's stop this cycle, let's stop all these cycles, and just be in the moment. No one does that. Well, yeah, no, an exaggeration. I'm just trying to make a point, but you know what I mean.
And it's no surprise that, you know, everyone now is, you know, we've got the tablets, the iPhones, computer,
which is a great thing.
It's a great thing, but people are going out of control. They're never, like, I'll see people, right, and they're talking, they're hanging out with somebody or whatever, and as soon as that person leaves, they're for a moment in their own space, back on the phone. Here we go. There is no moment of just gonna chill here for
but I don't think
impossible.
I don't think these things are responsible for it, because
they're not helping.
I think they are, because right now I could pick up the phone and I could communicate with anyone at any moment. I could Google and find out freaking the craziest, stupid, how many calories boogers have for you when your boogers in front of somebody else. Back in the day, people always had newspapers, and they were always looking at newspapers. But now we get instant newspapers, instant connection, instant ways to communicate with individuals, and you know, if it was anything else, people would still use it as a distraction from facing themselves, no matter what tool it was, no matter what it was. Only this is a more advanced,
so much
more powerful tool.
Distract yourself now.
Exactly, it's a lot easier to distract yourself, and I don't disagree in that fact. But ultimately, we still have a choice, and a lot of times, our very worst enemy is ourselves. And I think until the moment we realize that, until the moment we stop actually pointing the finger out and actually point it at ourselves, then and only then could we actually get down to really creating a society, a life, something better for ourselves. Even as individuals, don't do it for even, because there's a lot of people who are just honestly selfish fuckers, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's some selfish motherfuckers out there. You deal with them. you can't let people, number one, you can't let people like that decide the rest of your viewpoint on everybody else. It's not fair. Even when I date a girl, she's like, well, a guy did this one. I'm like, I'm not that guy. I would never do something horrible to you. But people always have this kind of pain because they never deal with it and they never learn to process it. But ultimately, forgot the point I was making. They sabotage themselves. I think that's what I was talking about. I'm just going to go off that tangent again.
People can't be with themselves, and we're worst own enemy.
Exactly. They're uncomfortable facing these truths because they hurt. They hurt that they made a mistake. They don't want to admit. And I was there. I was there many times in my life where I was just like, I fucked up. Oh shit. Oh wait, I'm not going to concentrate on that. I'm just going to move here and focus. Instead of saying, oh wait, I've hurt this other person. I hurt myself, or this person hurt me, or this action hurt me. Instead of facing it and dealing with it and embracing with it and fully letting it go through me in and out, I kept holding it in and clutching it and trying to control it and trying to be that kind of introverted, like fearful, like I can't deal with this shit. Fuck, and strained kind of control instead of being like open with it. And
thought you were gonna poop on the couch there.
I almost did. I almost sharted pretty bad. But ultimately, you are your very worst enemy when it comes to these things, and I've seen it in my life, and I was never a perfect human being. Oh yeah, the bigger point I was making, selfish assholes. A lot of selfish assholes, you can't treat everyone like they are, because then you perpetrate it and you become one yourself. But ultimately, if you're going to do it, if you're going to try to do some of these things, do it for your own benefit, because you do feel a lot better. You do feel not only a lot more confident, but you feel a lot more fulfilled. You feel a lot more happier. You feel like life is finally worth living once you deal with all this other shit. So if you're a selfish asshole out there, which some of you are, especially on those YouTube comments, you fuckers, you fuckers know how to get into under people's skin. No, not even fuck you. You're a fucker, but not even fuck. I'm not even gonna say fuck you. I'm not even gonna say fuck. You're a fucker, but it's okay. Do it for yourself. Make yourself better. You'll make everything around you great.
I like how later people will be like, how the podcast go? Well, Luke told all the commenters and haters that there are a bunch of fucking fuckers, and I think he made a really clear point. So I think he's really pre-framed that they're a bunch of a-holes, and it doesn't matter what they say now, because they're clearly fuckers, according to Luke. So I'm glad we've cleared that up.
We all have this perception of how horrible... Yeah, fuckers. We all have this perception of how horrible some human beings can be, and a lot of times the negative aspects speak out and stick with us a lot more than all the positive aspects. So all those bad people, just do it for yourself. Don't even do it to save the world. I know people, that's a pipe dream. It's too big of a thing, and don't get too far ahead of yourself. Just do it for yourself. Do it for yourself.
You're just going to be a happier person.
Exactly.
You're going to be... Life goes a lot easier when you're happy and people like you and you're not pissing people off.
Yeah. Even if you want to be like a troll in a basement, like we are now, we're pretty much kind of trolls.
We're basically trolls.
Trolls, pretty much. Even if you're just like us. Even if you're, just do it. Like, I see no reason not to. It's difficult, it's hard, it's painful, but by denying it, you're only prolonging it and making it bigger as far as the pain on yourself later down the line. So why not just take the Band-Aid off, rip it off, deal with your shit, face yourself, feel, go after all the horrible decisions you made in life and accept them, and apologize for all the people you hurt. There's a lot, and we're all not perfect. I'm not perfect. I made many mistakes in my life. I know you're not perfect, for sure.
Why for sure? What was that, Luke? What did I do?
Because we all, every last one of us.
No, nobody's perfect.
Every last one of us.
And don't be so hard on yourself. It's a big thing that we're both guilty of. We were talking about this earlier today. We're just, because we have, both of us, a tremendous amount of potential, and we're really hard on ourselves. We could be doing, we should be doing this. It's just like, we're good people and we're doing a great job. And sometimes we need to just chill and be greedy and selfish and work on ourselves and take some time off. And,
or even not work on yourself. Just say quit. I give up and
whatever. But
go play video games.
But we deserve
eat fried chicken and masturbate for like 5 days straight without taking a shower.
But if that's what you need to do,
Sasha does.
what do you? Wait a second. I just had one. Just 5 days ago. But you know what I mean? Like take it easy on yourself, and that's another thing. And one of the messages we get, like, you gotta be perfect, succeed, be successful, make it. It's like, hey man, do your best, be a good person, but you don't have to be perfect. Take it easy on yourself. Nobody's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Learn from them. Be gracious. Take it easy. It's cool.
I agree.
Yeah. I think we've done well. This has been good.
Let it go.
Yeah.
I think that last part, it should be over.
I think it is over.
Just let it go.
I think it's over. So, where at?
That.
Listen, this has been the Awaken podcast. Listen, tell people where they can find you and what are you doing and what do they need to know.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I'm somewhere. It's going to be weird. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be somewhat interesting, at least for me. Hopefully for you too. And if you want to see it, go on youtube.com/wearechange. Or any social media outlet, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Tinder, whatever. Luke, We Are Change.
If you want to see him stick it to the man, check it out. This has been beautiful. See you guys next time.
Love you.
Bye.